This week I was reading about the birth of Jesus in Luke chapter 2. And though it's a very familiar story, you could almost recite it by heart. As I was reading it, the story about the shepherds caught my attention, and I really started to pay attention to it. I mean, imagine the scene. These men were just having a normal, average evening. They're sitting on a hillside, they're tending their sheep, probably sitting around a fire. There was nothing special about that night. And suddenly an angel appears. Well, remember, at that time, Jewish traditions was very dry. There was nothing supernatural happening. So no one's talking about angels, no one's having supernatural experiences. I think it was even 600 years since the last prophet appeared in Israel. So this was a very dry spiritual time. So you can imagine how shocked they were when an angel appears to tell them this good news. But then an entire angel choir fills the sky in full performance. Well, this must have been such an overwhelming shock to them. Now, after the angels had gone and they were recovering, I bet they asked themselves, why are they telling us? And that was the question I had when I was reading the story. Why, with such an important and earth-shaking, earth-changing announcement, why was it given to these shepherds? You see, there was nothing special about these men. They were very ordinary people with a very ordinary job. They were not people of any influence or status. And there was nothing religious about them. They had no roles in the temple. They had no religious activities. In fact, they weren't doing anything spiritual. They weren't praying. They weren't worshiping. Nothing to invite the presence of God. They weren't looking for the Messiah or praying about him like Anna and Simeon were in the temple. They weren't studying the stars looking for a sign of something amazing. These were very average, unsuspecting people. Now, I would have thought, with such an important announcement, if you really wanted maximum exposure, you should have had the angels' choirs appear over top of Jerusalem so everybody could see them. But no, that's not what God decided to do. In fact, I think what happened is that heaven was bursting with excitement and they needed to tell somebody. And the choirs were all ready to sing and they were looking for someone to sing to. And I bet they looked down and saw these unsuspecting shepherds and they said, let's go blow their minds and sing to them, which is what they did. But you know the real reason why I think they came and visited the shepherds is because they actually were important. They were important to God. Because you see, there are no insignificant, unimportant people. They were important to God. And what we've learned all through scriptures is God loves to reveal himself to men. And that's why Jesus came. I mean, Jesus came to show us what God was like so that we could reconnect with him. Jesus came to reveal the Father to us. And he wants to reveal himself to you. And he wants to do it today. So, would you like God to reveal himself in a new and greater way to you even today? Because you are important enough, you qualify, but you need to give him permission. Ask God to reveal himself to you today in some way, and pay attention today because he may speak to you, he may give you pictures, circumstances might change, prayers might get answered. In some way, he'll reach to you today because he loves to reveal himself to people. And remember, you are important enough. And now I want to hear from you. How has God revealed himself to you in the past in a very unexpected way and it really caught your attention? Just leave your testimony in the box below the video because we want to hear what happened to you because it will encourage us. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter by filling out the subscription form on this page. And I'll talk to you again next week, but this week, ask God to reveal himself to you in a new way and see what happens and let us know.